Mike Blackburn from loudguitars.com, here with Donna Grantis, and we're in the rehearsal studio for the Women's Blues Review, which is this coming Saturday in Toronto. Donna, hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. So Donna, let's introduce people to you a little. Let's go way back. What are your first musical recollections growing up?
I always, listened to music at home, but the first time it really hit me was when I was a teenager, and when I first got into guitar. A very clear memory that I have is being in my brother's room, and he just bought a Hendrix album, and I just remember putting the CD in the stereo and listening to Voodoo Child for the first time, and just being totally blown away by what I heard. I just thought it was, gorgeous and amazing, and I was really curious about how to make, how to get across that kind of sound, and I was really curious about what Hendrix was doing and how he could create that music out of his guitar.
So you're talking when you were a teenager, and
yeah.
Up till then, you never had any music lessons or anything like that?
No, I didn't have any music lessons. I loved listening to Gem and the Holograms. I guess that's my earliest, musical memory. Definitely Michael Jackson too. But I loved Gem and the Holograms, and so I had a whole bunch of dolls that came with these stands where you could pose them into a rock and roll, pose. There was a guitar player, a keytar player. And each of the dolls came with a cassette tape with the Gem theme song, and then another song specific to the character.
So then you become a teenager.
Yep.
You really become interested in guitar.
Yep.
Did you start taking any lessons at that point, or did you just start learning on your own?
I started learning on my own. I bought a couple of books about chords, open chords and stuff like that. And then I bought the tab for Stairway to Heaven, and I tried to teach myself how to play it. And I learned the whole thing, but I learned it like this. And it wasn't until several months later, when I started taking lessons, that I learned to do that.
A little more fluid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you start playing with other people immediately, find people to play with? Just run through the bands that you had early on, and where that led.
When I was in grade 10, I formed a band with some friends, and we played. There was an event at high school called Coffee House, and I remember that was so fun. We had some original songs. I remember playing some blues too. I think I played Red House. I think I played maybe an old Black Sabbath tune once. Called Caravan, something like that, Planet Caravan.
Yeah.
And yes, throughout high school, I would just jam with friends. We used to play Hendrix and Janis Joplin, some Zeppelin.
And when during this process did you decide, I'd really like to have a career in music? I'd really like to go for that.
I knew that pretty early on, as soon as I...
As soon as you heard Hendrix?
As soon as I started playing, really. I think really once I started playing electric. So I started off on my brother's acoustic, and I made a deal with my dad that if I learned one song in its entirety perfectly, that he would buy me an electric. And once I got that, that's when I knew that this is what I really wanted to be doing. I mean, at the time, as like a 14-year-old, I didn't really have an understanding of, what would be involved or what it would be like to be a musician on a day-to-day level, but I just knew that I really loved playing and I wanted to play and practice and jam and write all the time.
So when do you consider yourself to have become professional? When did you turn professional, start making money playing music?
I started making money when I was in university. I studied jazz performance, and so that was a really great opportunity to hook up with a lot of other players and to gig a lot. So I think by my second year in university is when I really started to do a lot of playing with, like, I was really all over the map. I played in, like, jazz ensembles, blues bands. I had an instrumental fusion quintet, indie rock groups, like a little bit of everything. I just played with as many bands as I could.
When did you start your current power trio format, as it were, electric band?
Yeah, I started writing for the record in 2010.
And tell us then, how did the opportunity to go to Europe come around? Like, was it based on the album itself that people heard and wanted to get you over there, or how did that work out?
There's an agent based out of Amsterdam. His name's Martin Philippus from Amsterdam Music Promoters, and he saw some of my clips on YouTube, and he had heard about me through the work that I've done with Shakura Saida. She's an awesome, like, phenomenal blues singer, and I've been to Europe probably 6-7 times with her. So then Martin and I were in touch, and we were planning that tour for quite a while, almost 8-9 months in advance. So my album was out at that time.
But this was the first time you went as yourself, as your own artist.
Yes.
And is he the one that hooked you up with Hillywood Studios to rehearse and get things rolling?
No. So for this tour, I used a rhythm section based out of Amsterdam, or out of Holland. So I really just put the word out to all of my musician friends to see if anybody knew of anyone over there. So Bar and Courbois was recommended to me through a friend of a friend. And so it was awesome. I was over in the Netherlands for a month, and in support of my album Sweets, and we toured all throughout Holland and Luxembourg.
It's awesome, and Baron's awesome. Good people.
Yeah, he is awesome.
And they set up a great place to rehearse.
Yes.
Tell me how that was. I was just talking the other day with Layla Zoe, yeah. And she's pretty much convinced now that she's going to be moving to Europe because that is where all of her gigs are these days.
Yeah.
And she just says there are so many more venues. There's so much more of an appetite for all kinds of blues music, from traditional roots blues to rock blues. How did you find it when you were there playing around Holland?
It was really awesome. The people that I played for were really welcoming and really receptive to the music. It was just such an adventure and such an amazing experience to be able to travel around. I mean, Holland's a pretty small country, so everything's within about a 3-4 hour drive. So it was easy to get around, and we hit up a bunch of cities. I think people are really open to so many different styles of music over there, and they have a really great appreciation for blues.
They do.
Yeah, and jazz, fusion, rock, which is sort of what I'm doing, a big mix of everything.
I even think you're doing a little bit of trance. I don't know if you've ever seen Otis Taylor.
No. No.
Never heard of him? Well, some of his, he calls his trance blues.
Yeah.
And some of your instrumental, spacey, let's call it spacey
Yeah.
type of stuff is kind of like some of his stuff. You're
Yeah.
the only two people I know that kind of play in that style.
Yeah, the electric band is pretty psychedelic at times, and I really like to, experiment with different sounds and pedals and noise and stuff like that.
The current thing you're working on right here, the Women's Blues Review this coming weekend, how did that come about? How did you get into that? Yeah.
So back in 2009.
And let's say you are the music director this year.
Yeah. In 2009, I played in the Women's Blues Review with Shakura Saida, and then the following year, I was asked by the Toronto Blues Society to be the musical director.
So you've been musical director since 2010.
Yeah. So this is my third time around.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great on your resume.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Like everybody in the band is so fun to work with.
And you're very busy these days because you're also working with Amanda Marshall, who is...
Yeah, we just played a show up in Huntsville a couple of weeks ago. She's so phenomenal. She totally blows me away.
Is she writing new material?
She is writing new material.
Because she's been on kind of a, let's call it a forced hiatus because of contractual issues with her former record company and so on and so forth.
I don't know what the details are, but the show was rocking. Like it was really.
And is there any chance you could be involved in the recording when she gets down to doing a new record?
I don't know, but I guess we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, getting back to guitar, you've mentioned Hendrix. Guitar-wise, who are some of your other idols?
Jeff Beck, Prince, Slash, Kenny Burrell, Wes Montgomery, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Derek Trucks, John Scofield for sure, Bill Frisell,
Mike Stern?
Mike Stern, Total Oz Noy.
Oz Noy, he's amazing.
Yeah, Wayne Krantz.
How old school do you get? Do you like Pat Martino?
Yeah, I actually saw Pat Martino in New York in August.
So what are your own upcoming projects that are outside of the two we've mentioned for yourself, for your own band?
For my own band, I want to keep writing. I've started writing for the next record and keep touring. I'll be back in Europe in 2013, and I hope to play some more Jazz Fest shows in Canada this summer, and I'm making plans to play in New York too.
And growing up here in Toronto, did you have, like, once again, I was talking with Layla the other day, and she said that when she was getting started, a big mentor for her and something she'll never forget was singing with Jeff Healey, and how, that was just an amazing boost for her career. Jeff did wonderful things for her.
Yeah.
In your case, do you have any such mentor, anybody that you really has helped you along somehow?
I think Shakura Saida for sure has been, she's taught me so much about so many things, actually, like, career-wise and musically, and it's been a really great partnership. We've done a lot of writing together, and a lot of touring too. But also, I learned from everybody I work with. So from Saida Baba Taliba, she's an unbelievable performer. I play in a band called Hill in the Sky Heroes, and Hill's an incredible writer and entertainer. I've played with Cardinal Offishall, like in the hip hop world, which is a little bit different, than the traditional blues rock stuff that I do, and that's been wild too. A local guitar player who has really influenced me is Kevin Bright.
Kevin?
Yeah,
he's very good friends with Derek, who we mentioned earlier as
yeah.
well, and lives in Allura now, Kevin. Yeah. Nice guy, too.
Yeah.
Listen, anybody who would give up a plum gig like he had to be home with his kids more really says something about the guy. Okay, how about let's run through some of your gear here.
Yeah.
You are sponsored by Paul Reed Smith. I don't know how many PRS guitars you own right now, but how many do you own?
I have 3.
You have 3.
Yeah.
So you've got a black one, don't you?
No, I have a white one.
Oh, white one.
Yeah.
And then these 2.
And these 2. So this is Electra, PRS CE22 bolt-on that I got in '98.
Now, is it stock or is it modified in any way?
It's modified, yeah. I've got 5708 pickups in there in replace of the Dragons. And then this is a push-pull coil tap. A floating bridge is new. And then I have the locking tuners as well, which is an update. This is my main guitar.
This is your number 1.
This is my number 1, and you can, I don't know if you can pick that up on
Yeah,
the
you
camera,
can see
but
that on the
it's
neck.
very loved.
Very loved.
For sure. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the other one.
The other one is a PRS Starla.
Is that a real Bigsby? Or
It is a real Bigsby. Yeah, and this guitar really changed the way that that I play. Once I got it, when I never really used the whammy bar a ton on Electro, but because of the Bigsby, I just started like using this for vibrato as well as like full-on dives, and so I got really used to that. And then I put the bar back on Electro, but now like I don't think
you can't live without it.
I can't go back. And actually, sometimes when I play guitars that don't have bars, I'll reach for it. You know what I mean? And then if it's not there, I'm missing out. But yeah, really awesome guitar. Sounds really chunky and heavy.
And what mods have you made to this one?
This is totally stock.
Totally stock?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Nice glitter.
Yeah, beautiful.
Very beautiful.
All gold sparkle.
Yeah.
On the back.
Kind of reminds me of Joe Bonamassa's amazing Strat that he no longer has. Gold sparkle.
Yeah, I love the sparkle.
All right, and so you are sponsored by Paul Reed Smith. What strings do you use, and do you have a string sponsor?
Yeah, I always use D'Addario 11 to 49, the blues jazz rock strings.
Okay.
And there was a point where I really experimented a lot with, playing different gauge strings. Once I got this guitar, actually, on my first electric guitar, I put 13s on there just to like strengthen my fingers. Yeah, it was great because then I found when I went back to this that
it's like playing butter.
Yeah, my technique was a lot better, but I really like playing 11s because I like the tone of the heavier string, but I still find 11s really comfortable.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you have 22 fret guitars because I find the 24 fret guitars, they're just so tight at the top. It's just, if you have big hands, it's a nightmare.
I have a 24 fret PRS Mira at home.
I have one too, and it's better than most 24 fret guitars.
Yeah.
It seems to have thin fret wire or whatever, but it doesn't seem to be quite so bad.
Yeah, I keep that guitar tuned down actually to E flat, which sort of compensates for the...
Let's talk about your amp.
Yes.
Another sponsor of yours?
I play Trainer amps. I have a Trainer Dark Horse at home, as well as a Trainer Bassmaster from '72 that's been modded.
I have a couple of the old YCV 15s, the little blue amp, not the 50-watt one, the little one that's Class A.
Yeah.
Really nice. Make some good stuff, Trainer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for showing us your gear, and thank you very much for the interview. It's been awesome, and we'll see you in the December issue of Loud Guitarist at
Awesome.
loudguitarist.com.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.